Good morning. Today's coffee travel morning is New York City. I had gotten the first opportunity to visit New York City in my days at CACI. We had a client when I was billable at Military Sealift Command Atlantic Fleet. MSC Lant is what it was called. They were out of Bayonne, New Jersey. So my first images in New York City were actually from New Jersey. Bayonne, New Jersey. We drove up for a 36-hour period. And during that period, we got a little bit of downtime. We took the ferry over from Liberty Park to the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. So my first images were basically looking up northward at the island of Manhattan from New Jersey, and then also the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. So credible sight. This World Trade Center was still there, and it was just amazing to me how far away you could see that from. We had a second trip up to Bayonne the next month, where we actually drove in to Manhattan. I was with a colleague that knew a number of the sites in Manhattan pretty well. We went in through the Lincoln Tunnel, and oh my goodness, what a mess that was. I had never seen so much traffic. We actually went to the Second Avenue Deli. I went to an authentic Manhattan Jewish deli and had pickles and pastrami on rye. It was delicious. And of course, went into a sea of taxi cabs at Times Square. So just the experience was mind-boggling. Over the years, I've been to New York several times, including all three major airports, Newark, LaGuardia, and JFK. One time, Stacy and I and my brother-in-law did a concert at Madison Square Garden, and we were staying down in Lower Manhattan at the Embassy Suites. And talk about fortune. We were there 10 days before the World Trade Center fell and actually went up the South Tower. Stacy and I went on a walk in Lower Manhattan the day before, the day that we left. And that morning, I had to talk her in to actually riding the elevator up one of the towers to see Manhattan from there. And we went up the South Tower of the World Trade Center. It was quite an experience, a great view, great memory, a memory that we'll never be able to revisit, of course, unless we could get close to it if we ever go up the Freedom Tower, which is there now. Of course, been there many times. I've usually stayed in Midtown on the east side or in central Midtown, just south of Central Park. Of course, I've visited the Bronx and Queens and Brooklyn and driven through Staten Island to cross the Verrazano Narrows over to Brooklyn before. Stacy and I have been fortunate to go to several football games at MetLife, and we've usually stayed downtown. The transportation system in New York City is second to none. I'm amazed at how quickly you can get around. There was one trip I took from um, Dulles to JFK where I never drove. So I rode the JFK train to the Long Island Railway to the New York City subway, did everything I needed to do, and turned around and came back. And it was just amazing to me how easily you can get around if you know where you're going and know what you're doing. It's just a very fluid and efficient transportation system. Of course, I recommend anyone that goes to New York visit Times Square and Central Park, the aforementioned Statue of Liberty. Also, a couple secrets. Try to visit Columbus Circle, which is right at the southwest corner of Central Park, and Bryant Park, which is as you're starting to leave Midtown on the east side, there's the famous library building there that sometimes people don't know of or haven't heard of. Take time to ride up the elevator to the top of the Empire State Building where you can feel like King Kong. And of course, one of our most recent visits, we did visit the 9/11 Memorial, and it was as moving, even more moving than I thought it would be. About 9 years ago, Stacy, on one of our visits, bought me a helicopter ride around Manhattan, and that was quite memorable. And I would recommend people do that. I know there was a recent tragedy from a tourist, a couple touring that crashed in the Hudson River on a helicopter ride. My understanding is that there's so many of these a day, and that's just a very rare occurrence that we, unfortunate for them that they lost. But I loved it. It was 11 minutes of sheer joy. Pro tip I'd give anyone visiting New York City, a great weekend to go is the weekend after Labor Day. It is still warm and there are less tourists because school's in session. I would highly recommend that as a very good time of year to go. It's a little secret. The weather hasn't turned, the leaves haven't turned yet, and it's still quite nice. And it's just not as crowded. It, of course, is a very crowded place. I enjoy New York. Please hit me up if you ever have any need for tips or advice on visiting. It is a wonderful city. To me, it is the original true American mega city. And from the layout, from the history, from the landmarks, from the things to do that are just uniquely New York, it's a fun place to go. Take care.